3 weeks after my wife shattered her shoulder, I received a phone call from our doctor and heard the words advanced prostate cancer for the first time. And I want to tell you that when I told Sue, neither of us said, why us? We didn't have the energy left to ask that question. We'd already asked it years ago. We'd stopped expecting an answer, quite honestly. If you've been watching this channel, then you know about the diagnosis. You know about the surgery. You know about Sue's shoulder. And you know also about some of the recovery that's taken place. What you don't know is everything that came before it. The years that taught us how to sit in a room like that and not fall apart. Or fall apart and keep going anyway, regardless. I want to tell you how we got to that room, because I don't think you can fully understand what this last year has been, for us at least, without understanding the 7 years before it. So let's go back to 2018. In 2018, my mother passed away. I'm not going to walk you through the details of that. I mean, look, some of the story I'll give you in full, and this one I'm going to give you just kind of the fact of it, because some losses simply don't need elaboration to be understood. You know what losing your mother means, and I don't have to explain it to you. A year later, in 2019, I was diagnosed with BPH, which is benign prostate hyperplasia. Nothing cancerous. I had an ablation or a helo. I reduced the size and it managed the symptoms. PSA went down, and at the time, it felt like everything had been dealt with. I want to be honest now, looking back, knowing what was coming, it's almost hard to remember it as a big deal. But it was. Everything is a big deal until you find out what's coming next. Now, in 2021, we received a knock at the door at 2:30 in the morning that no parent ever wants to receive. We had 2 police officers tell us that our son had passed away. He was 21 years old, and he was taken from us tragically by gun violence. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that story today. Some stories take their own video, and when Sue and I are ready to tell them, right, we will. But I'm not going to skip past it either, because skipping past it would be a lie about what these years actually were. And it would be a lie to not acknowledge that we lost our son. He was 21. And every single thing I'm about to tell you happened to 2 parents who were already carrying all that. That's where we start. Now, in 2023, I lost my job. Now, that's not just a job. It was our only source of income. I want you to sit with that for just a second. In the middle of everything else that I've already told you, we were still grieving our son. And now the income that had supported our household was gone. That's the thing about hard years. They don't wait for you to recover from the last hard thing before the next one arrives. Around that same time, Sue's parents, both in their late 80s and early 90s, began needing full-time care. Her father had dementia, her mother had physical disabilities that meant they couldn't be left alone any longer. So we became their full-time caregivers, and we moved them physically across the country to live with us full-time in our home. We became their powers of attorney, which meant we weren't just managing their day-to-day care and meals or hygiene. We were managing their finances, their taxes, their medical decisions, their Social Security, every appointment, every medication, every difficult conversation about what they now could and couldn't do any longer. Nobody tells you what that actually is day to day. There's no playbook for that. There's no manual. It's not a single hard moment that you push through. It's thousands of small, relentless decisions made on behalf of people who raised the woman I love while that woman and I were already exhausted in ways we hadn't fully named yet. We did it anyway because that's what you do. But I want to be clear with you about something. Doing it, what you have to do, and being okay are two very different things. We were doing what had to be done, but we were not most days okay. I need you to understand that grief didn't arrive in its own. It arrived in the middle of everything else that was happening to our own bodies that same year. Sue had a melanoma skin cancer diagnosis that required surgery. My wife had cancer cut out of her skin while she was also caring for both of her parents. And then around that same time, I developed an infection in my foot. It didn't resolve, it didn't heal, it only got worse, and eventually I had to have a toe amputated. I want to say that plainly because I think it matters. In the same window of time that we were full-time caregivers of Sue's parents, she had a cancer surgery and I had a piece of my own body removed because of an infection. Now, in late 2024, Sue's father passed away. 6 months later, her mom passed away too. Both of the people that we had spent past few years caring for, both gone within 6 months of each other. We were not living one hard thing at a time. We were living all of it at the same time, with no real space in between for any of it to even allow us to catch our breath. I tell you that not for sympathy. I tell you because I think a lot of people watching this needs to understand the years and how it feels like when grief and your own body and someone else's body are all falling apart in the same 6 to 8 months, and you're just trying to hold on to all of it without dropping anything along the way. We didn't drop everything, but we dropped some things. We had to. Now, a week before Christmas 2025, Sue shattered her shoulder. You've probably already seen that video. 3 weeks later, I was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. 3 weeks. That's it. That's the gap after everything I just told you. After 2018, after 2021, after the job, after her parents, after her cancer, after my foot. 3 weeks separated my wife breaking her shoulder in multiple places from me hearing the words advanced prostate cancer. I don't have a lesson to teach you about timing. I don't think there is one. Sometimes life doesn't arrange itself into something meaningful. Sometimes it just keeps coming at you. So that's the room I was sitting in. That's everything that was already in the room with us before the doctor ever said the word. 7 years, a mother, a son, a job, 2 parents we cared for, and then buried a piece of my wife's skin, a piece of my own foot, her shoulder, and then advanced prostate cancer. I'm telling you all this not because I want you to feel sorry for us. I'm telling you because I think it explains something about how we've handled everything you've watched on this channel so far. We didn't come into this diagnosis as 2 people who had had an easy run and were meeting a hardship for the first time ever. We came into it as 2 people who had already knew bone deep how to keep walking when you don't have anything left to walk with. That's not a strength I'm necessarily proud of exactly. I traded in a heartbeat for the years that it taught us, but it's what we have and it's what we're using now. If you're in your own version of this, if the losses are stacking up faster than you can grieve, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't have to have a reason for why it's happening. You don't have to find the meaning in while you're still in it. You just have to keep walking through the next door. And then the one after that. That's what we did. And that's what we're still doing. My name is Mike Jones. This is Jonesing for the Journey. And so the adventure continues.